Check 1, 2. Okay, wait a minute. Test 1. We'll check test 1, 2, and it's come through.
Okay, everyone, you've got to forgive us and everything, but we've had some technical difficulty, compounding these issues. But like I said before, we're joined today with our Secretary of Revenue, Dave Hardy. We've got some great news to tell you about. We've got our interim Secretary of DHHR, Dr. Sherry Young, with us as well. And so let me get right into this and everything. We've got a young man, as I see him, but he's Lieutenant Harold is retiring today, and he's a member of the Capitol Police, and I see him every time that I walk into Capitol. It seems like he always stands at attention, and he always loves Baby Dog, and we talk from time to time, and he's so professional, it's unbelievable, and I congratulate him in every way. We gave him a certificate of thanks today, and I just signed a picture of Baby Dog and I and sent that out to him. But Lieutenant Harold, you're a shining star in my world, and literally when I see you many days that are not, things aren't real great and everything, and but you always have that professionalism, that upbeat attitude, and I just wish you the very, very best in your retirement. Just go do great stuff and keep doing it, and know at any time, any place, you're welcome to call me, and I can't promise I'll come running, but I'll come walking real fast and everything, because I think you're a superstar, and I thank you so much for all you've done for all of us. Now, we've got Secretary Hardy with us, and last year we had an incredible year. We had $1 billion with a B, $800 million surplus in the state of West Virginia. And with all that being said, then we started out July, and it wasn't all that great. I think July came in at, around $7 million. We had gotten so used to every month after month after month, 120, 180, 110, every month, on the way to $1.8 billion surplus. It enabled us to do lots and lots and lots of things. one of the biggest things that it enabled us to do was give back right at $800 million, or I think it was between $750 and $800 million to the people of West Virginia, in the biggest tax cut ever of all times. You know, then all of a sudden, August came in not much better than July. And there were a lot of naysayers that were casting stones out there, and we've still got a long ways to go, don't we? A long, long ways to go. But to be perfectly honest, our people kept running the numbers and running the numbers and running the numbers, and to say that we weren't concerned would have not been the truth. To be perfectly honest, we try as best we can to mind the store and keep us on course. We've done that since day one that I walked in the door. Absolutely. With all that being said, I am so proud to announce to you now that and I want to get this exactly right, with 1 day to go in the month of September, collections show that we are running for the month of September $210 million above budget. So with all that being said, today at least we can take a breath of maybe ease, but we'll continue to watch it. There's no guarantee exactly how things are going to be, whether they be gas prices or coal prices that have dropped significantly. But we're starting to see, every day, we're starting to see one thing happen, and that is the driving force behind these numbers is one thing, and that is the personal income tax collections are substantially up. $110 million above estimates. That's what is really exciting. And so maybe I could turn it over to you, Secretary Hardy, and you could report on this better than I. Okay, we couldn't hear Secretary Hardy, so let me keep moving through this, and if we get it where we can pick up Secretary Hardy and Sherry Young, we'll go to Sherry and Dave. But let me tell you this too. Some of the problems we're having, we've got people that haven't done this on a regular basis and whatever, and they're trying to do it because the head of communications for us is Jordan Dameron, and Jordan Dameron, with all of our congrats in every way, just got married. He's on his honeymoon, and he's not with us today, and so we wish him the best, and we wish him the greatest marriage for him and Emma, and in every way. And so, but with all that being said, got married last Saturday. And he'll be back real soon. But like I said, we got new people. Thank God I'm not working on it, because we'd never get going at all. But nevertheless, thanks a bunch to those that are trying, and we're going to keep trying here. But there's a potential government. And the federal government is on the brink of shutting down. And if I were to give you my best prediction, I'd say that there's a dadgum good chance it's going to happen. With all that being said, I will promise you with all my soul that we're not going to let you down, and that we're ready, and that we're running every contingency that you can possibly run. There's 16,000 federal employees in West Virginia who will be impacted in one way or another. We are talking back and forth to our congressional partners, and we are just in the dark as maybe all of you. The reality of the whole thing is, like it or not like it, but it's just fact, is Washington, D.C. is broken in so many different ways, it's unbelievable. I don't understand, but the Republicans line up on one side, the Democrats line up on the other side, There's no respect for one another. I don't understand that. And there's hardly any compromise on anything. You know, I surely have strong, conservative values, and I'll never change that. But with all that being said, you know, I truly believe that that the course that this government is on today, you know, with absolutely President Biden's administration, you know, and this sounds like the furthest right-wing talking guy on the planet, but I would just tell you just this. If you believe that we're on the right path in this country today, you know, I think you got a screw loose in lots of ways. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but literally, whether it be the border or inflation or it be, you know, all the stuff, you know, the embarrassment of Afghanistan, absolutely gas prices, you know, whatever it may be across this land. I mean, just think of what many of our schools are putting in the heads of our kids. And just think about, you know, parents being cut out of the picture. It's ridiculous. It's just totally ridiculous. Think about the rampant situation as far as crime. Think about who on God's earth could have come up with defund the police. Are you kidding me? So really and truly, I hope to goodness that we can some way, somehow get on the right path. You know, I hate the folks that, you know, are going to be impacted if we get a government shutdown. I hate it like crazy. You know, Dr. Young is on with us right now, and maybe she can shed more light on it and everything, because there's many folks and many dollars that flow into DHHR, and the impact there could be substantial. But Dr. Young, if you're on, please give us your thoughts, and then we'll flip back to Secretary Hardy.
Thank you, Governor. And yes, we do have a lot of concerns coming from the West Virginia DHHR because 68% of our funding comes from federal resources. So a government shutdown could be very concerning and potentially affect a lot of the services we get out to our folks. For right now, we are actually doing okay. DHHR has been working with the governor's office to make sure that we had a contingency plan the closer that we got to the imminent shutdown. So we've assessed our programs. As far as Medicaid, foster care, CHIP programs, and child support, those are delivered quarterly. And so we have the funding for those for at least the next couple of months, contingent even upon the shutdown of the federal government. For public health grants are usually issued in about 2-year cycles. So unless any of those would come to an end during the shutdown, we should be okay as far as paying our public health partners and keeping local health departments and other response up and running. The other things coming out of DHHR, temporary assistance for needy families, or the TANF benefits, WIC and SNAP benefits. We have been able to secure enough money that we can pre-fund that and make sure that we do not stop giving those services to folks at least through the end of October. If the shutdown would go beyond that point, of course, we would have to reassess and try to make divert those funds so that we could get those into the right places. There will be no disruption to child care services from the state perspective. So we've worked very hard to try to make sure that even in the event of a federal shutdown, that our most vulnerable populations from DHHR services will continue to be served, at least in the temporary capacity.
Thanks a bunch, and just keep doing great work. I mean, for crying out loud, you're a superstar, and I know you are. Just keep doing good stuff. Secretary Hardy, come on, you know, and tell us about these great numbers in September.
Thank you so much, Governor. As you mentioned there a few minutes ago, July and August, we were $7 million over budget in July. We were $23 million over budget in August. So that gave us a $30 million number going into September. September came on like gangbusters. We were $210 million above budget. leading us to now, as we finish the first quarter of fiscal year '24, we are approximately $240 million above budget for the fiscal year, 1/4 of the way in. And you say, well, what happened? What was the difference? The difference, and it's the one that we should all be paying attention to, is our personal income tax number. If we remember, this year, calendar year '23, we cut our personal income tax by 21.25%. That put about $741 million back into the taxpayers' pockets for this year, fiscal year '24. Immediately, reduce tax withheld out of your paycheck, reduce estimated payments. Despite that gigantic cut, that historic cut, the first income tax cut that we have made in this state of any substance since 1987, we are now even, absolutely even with income tax collections compared to where we were a year ago. Now, that means that we have grown our personal income tax income about 20% if you use September 30th of '22 against September 30th of '23. What a great story to tell. And we're watching these numbers. We double-checked them to be sure they're correct. And that's the story for September, that the state income taxes and our incomes are growing to show that type of revenue growth in such a quick way. Other numbers that did well, it wasn't just the state income tax. Our corporate net income tax was $54 million above estimate. It grew by 2.2% compared to a year ago. And year to date on corporate net income tax at the end of the first quarter, we're at 20.5% higher than we were a year ago. Consumer sales tax, the tax that indicates that people are earning money and spending money and stimulating the economy, we were $11.2 million above estimate. For September, the number is 9.6% above where it was a year ago. Again, a very healthy growth number. And our interest income, of course, is doing well, and that is based on the fact that we have higher interest rates in general, and the state of West Virginia is capitalizing on the rate of return of its cash reserves. So if you add all this up, we are ending this first quarter with a very large bang, a good bang, and if this would continue, we would be in a very, very large surplus position at the end of fiscal year '24. And I don't want to predict that. We all know that these numbers can be fickle and they can change, but I will say this, the difference between September and at the end of September and the end of August was remarkable. And if these personal income tax numbers continue to grow, will have a very good fiscal year '24. So I'll turn it back to you, Governor.
All right. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much. You've been here a long time. You've been here since I started, and you do unbelievable work, and you're a great, great, great friend. And as well as all those folks, whether it be Mark or Mike or whomever it may be, that are the people working side by side with you and everything. They do great work, and we should all be very, very, very thankful for them. Now, let me just say this, and I want everybody to hear me loud and clear. A lot of people believe, and I believe this with all in me, if I were to tell you what does Jim Justice think his best trait is, it wouldn't be a lot of the things that you would come up with, but what I think is the best thing that I've got going for me is just this, and that's the ability to doubt myself. Really and truly, I would say to you on these numbers, let's just wait and see. Let's don't go out and do some frivolous things where we just spin. We don't need to do that. Absolutely, we have tried to reward our folks as we go forward when we know we're on rock solid ground. This economy is volatile right now. Absolutely, with inflation being where it's been, with interest rates being where they are, with absolutely a real backup in fossil fuel prices. There are so many things that are volatile right now, but we got to watch. We got to watch. And that's our job to do that for all of you, and that's what we'll do. So let's be cautious here. Absolutely, really cautious. September is phenomenal. July and August, we were concerned. You know, as we go forward, we'll know more and more and more. These folks are doing great work, but let's be cautious. Now I've got something else that I need to report that's good stuff right here as well. Pandemic-related stabilization payments. I'm going to read this, okay, so I won't mess this up. You know, but we have, yesterday, they announced that there's enough pandemic relief money left for an extra payment for child care providers. Now, I don't know how it gets any better than this, really and truly, because those folks need the dollars and need the dollars badly. And that payment has already been sent out. It will be slightly lower than the normal monthly payment. However, again, you've got to realize this is just an extra payment that nobody really expected. This will mark the final payment of the $160 million that DHHR has distributed. You know, it's really good stuff. Remember all this will be the final payment, but it's an extra payment. It's good stuff, great stuff. Now, this is crazy stuff to me, but there's a fellow going around. His name is John Anthony Castro. He is filing lawsuits in every state trying to prohibit Donald Trump from being on the ballot. He has filed a lawsuit, and a lawsuit was filed in U.S. District Court for the Southern District of West Virginia by this gentleman, you know, and basically the lawsuit seeks to remove Donald J. Trump from the ballot in 2024. You know, I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't get how we could absolutely beat on a man that did a great job as our president, a man that was dealt COVID right into his lap, a man that absolutely got us vaccines in 7 or 8 months, something that was totally impossible, a man that absolutely displayed strength all across the nation, all across the world. In doing so, sure, from time to time, maybe he could say something that somebody didn't agree with, but absolutely the world respected America in many ways. We didn't have, you know, interest rates out of control and inflation out of control and the southern border with millions of people pouring over and fentanyl issues and crime running rampant and on and on and on. Do you not remember? Do you not remember? And now, because he's wanting to run for president again, we beat on him, we beat on his family. I don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, we should absolutely be thankful, and I hope to goodness that this comes out more and more repelled and ridiculous beyond belief. You know, across all the land, though, you've got to worry, don't you? You've got to worry about states that were maybe right on the bubble, the Michigans or the Arizonas or whatever it may be. So with all that being said, Mr. President, I just apologize for anyone that would be thinking this way or trying to do this stuff. It's tough enough to step up, and for your family, I hate it. And for you, I really hate it. I want to congratulate Arch Cole today. You know, think about this one. Arch Cole, you know, came to me. We did some neat stuff to kind of maybe help out a little bit and everything in regard to their expansion in Taylor and Barber counties. Now just think what they've managed to do. They have absolutely managed to achieve a remarkable milestone of working more than 1 million man-hours without any reportable injuries. Not without fatalities, without any reportable injuries. Meaning between these two mining operations at Archlear in Taylor County and Archlear South in Barber County, those two mines with more than 1,000 dedicated employees have worked over 2 million total hours without a single injury. It's great stuff. So Paul, so all of y'all and everything that are friends and everything, good, gracious, congratulations. Keep up the great work. We couldn't be more proud and everything, and this is an accomplishment beyond belief. The mining industry's tough. We all know it's tough. And absolutely, I say it over and over and over, but folks that are thousands and thousands and thousands of feet underground every day, getting their dinner bucket and going to work to power and to do great things in making, steel and providing electricity for all of us and everything. God bless each and every one of them. Please stay safe. Congratulations to all the folks at Arch and everything, and all the workers that make this happen every day. Good stuff. Now I've got to report on a great friend in a really good way. Tex Williams. Tex Williams is a legend. We all know he's a legend beyond belief. He is having his annual West Virginia Sports Legends Banquet tomorrow. Regretfully, I can't make it and everything, Tex, but absolutely with all in me, I congratulate all those that are there. The event is going to be at the Arty Museum in Raleigh County. If you haven't been to the Arty Museum, you need to go. You need to go, absolutely, especially if you're a sports fan. You would be totally amazed. It's starting at 11 o'clock and it's open to the public. And again, I thank Tex beyond belief. He is honoring 4 legendary coaches for the West Virginia Sports Legends Hall of Fame. Get this, who he's honoring. Coach Bob Huggins, Jerry Lucas, Cal Bailey, and John Lowry. So great stuff and everything. Please, if you don't have a whole lot to do tomorrow, or if you do have a whole lot to do, think about going to this, because I've been many times. I was honored there one time, but I've been many times to see all the folks that are there. You'd be amazed of all the legends that are there. But to John Lowry, to Cal Bailey, Jerry Lucas, and Bob Huggins, please accept my congrats. Okay, National Gear Up Week proclamation. This week is National Gear Up for College Week, for College Week in West Virginia, which is designed to increase the number of students prepared to get their post-secondary degree. We need more and more folks getting their degrees, do we not? We need more and more college-educated kids in this great state. But also, and I say it over and over, a lot of kids aren't designed or aren't set up and everything that they want a 4-year degree. But the technical schools, we need to continue to expand and everything, and be able to provide our workforce or workers all throughout the land and everything of West Virginia, because our workforce really is second to none, but we want to continue to train and make them just that. So I congratulate all those, all across the state, and I congratulate all those that are working real hard for the National Gear Up Week or the National Gear Up Week that's going to go on with our colleges in West Virginia. Okay, this is just a report here as well and everything, but hunters are getting ready to start. I guess it starts this Saturday. The bow season comes in, and I just want to update our hunters on just this, that if hunters in West Virginia have the opportunity to take up to 2 additional deer during the statewide deer archery and crossbow season. The deadline to purchase deer stamps, the extra stamps, for this season is tonight at midnight. So if you haven't purchased your stamps tonight, as I understand it, you're out of luck. But you can buy a class RB, that will provide 1 additional, deer to be taken, or you can buy. I'm sorry. This will allow you to take 2 additional deer, or you would be buying a class RRB stamp that would be this, for the same purpose. So the net of the whole thing is go online, read the stuff. Tonight is the last night. You got to get in. You got to get in right now and everything if you want the ability to be able to take 2 additional deer. And the last thing I have, and I should have done this first to tell you the truth, but Chuck Romine, and many of us know Chuck Romine, and we absolutely send all of our condolences to the family. And here was a true public servant, and I guess the first time that he was elected to the House of Delegates was 1968, and then Chuck was with us for 50 years, and I want to read and make sure I get this exactly right, but through the course of 50 years until he retired in 2018, and the same year that we gave him a Distinguished West Virginian Award. He's from Cabell County, and he'll surely be missed by all of us in every way. I think if you're a West Virginian and you've got a little bit of white hair, you absolutely know the name Chuck Romine. So, Chuck, God bless you, and Godspeed that you're watching down on all of us, and you'll be doing so forevermore. So in every way, we'll miss you. So thanks so much, and that's all I've got for right now.
Okay, thank you, Governor. Let's now turn to members of the media for questions. First up, Charles Young with WV News.
Charles Young with WV News. My question is for Secretary Hardy. Secretary, I know last month when you spoke in front of the Finance Committee, you called the recent severance tax collections disappointing. Could you detail the September severance taxes, and were they also disappointing? Are we starting to see some improvement there? Thank you.
Those were pretty much for September what we expected. What is missing in this equation, Charles, is today is a very large collection day for severance tax. There's actually a large payment due today, so we were not able to total up the severance and will not be able to release the official number till probably late morning on Monday, which is October 2nd. Going into today, the severance tax was pretty much on budget for us. It was about $9 million below what we had anticipated. We had estimated it at $79 million, and it was about $70 million. But we've got a very large payments due in today. More information coming on Monday.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Let's now go to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Thank you, everybody. And Governor, thank you for the kind words for Chuck Romine, who became a dear friend in my years covering the legislature. A lot of people don't know this, but his wife Phyllis ran his House of Delegates office, and sadly she passed away just about 3 weeks ago. So we will miss Phyllis and Chuck Romine. God bless their families and God rest their souls. Governor, I want to ask you about a letter you received from the Departments of Education and Agriculture recently. They wrote you to say that West Virginia State University, a historically black land-grant university, had been underfunded by West Virginia government to the tune of $852 million over a 30-year span. What are your concerns about that, and what will you and the legislature do to fix the WV state funding match issue? Thank you.
Okay, Mark, let me just say just this. There's a lot of information here that we're still trying to assimilate and put together, but with all that being said, I want to tell everyone we have a great relationship with Dr. Cage, and really and truly, the West Virginia State's funding, I guess was higher, last year was higher than ever before. We want to continue to fund a great school, and we want to do it in a really prudent way. And so we'll continue to work and work with Dr. Cage and work with West Virginia State. I mean, it's a great school, and if you haven't been there, you need to go. I mean, really and true, it's a great school, and they're doing a lot of really exciting, good stuff. And so we want to be supportive, and we want to do the right thing. I think these numbers are really skewed, but to tell you, a great deal of detail and everything so far, I can't do that right now.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Let's now go to Steve Adams with Ogden Newspapers.
Yeah, this is Steve Adams of Ogden Newspapers. Governor, I wanted to ask you about your U.S. Senate Financial Disclosure Report. I noticed that on the liabilities you had, I think, 4 lines of credit from your businesses that had a 0% interest rate and were available on demand. I know, for example, one of those was the Greenbrier Resort or Greenbrier Hotel Corporation. Up in the assets, of course, reports that there's next to no income. You received next to no income from that, but you also can request up to $25 million in a line of credit. I was wondering if you could explain that a little bit, and whether you think that kind of looks like you're hiding possible income, or if it can be perceived that way. Thank you.
Stephen, I don't get an income from the Greenbrier, and let me just say just this, that the fellow that prepares, or prepared this financial disclosure form and everything, because it's really extensive, is Terry Miller, and he's a lifelong, friend, but he's been a lifelong accountant and bookkeeper and either CFO at times or COO or whatever at the Greenbrier, but he's been with our family, for 40 or 50 years, a long time. But Terry, I'm sure, has got it exactly right and everything. To be perfectly honest, we asked Terry to prepare. I didn't go through line by any stretch of the imagination and look at the stuff. I'm sure that it is prepared very accurately. From the standpoint of me receiving a check or an income from the Greenbrier, I don't receive a check or an income from the Greenbrier. But with all that being said, the only thing that I would add, Stephen, is just this: if you dig deep enough and everything, and you're an accountant and everything, you'll see just this, and I'll be real short and sweet on this. You'll see a family that has worked really hard. A family that really, at one time, if you'll be really fair, and you'll step back from it and you'll say, well, when things were really tough and everything, why didn't they take bankruptcy like every coal company almost in the land that was having trouble, that wrote off hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, and we didn't do it. And, with all that, there's no big gigantic pots of gold that are sitting around. Absolutely, at the end of the day, you can see that. And then from that, you can see a family that, sometimes they're a little late on a bill here and there and everything, but we pay them, don't we? And really, when it really boils right down to it, that I am really proud of my children. Jay and Jill have done a marvelous job running our assets and running our businesses, and so they're going to continue to do just that. But boy, would it have not been an easy way out to just declare bankruptcy, stiff a whole bunch of people and everything, banks, lenders and everything else, or vendors and everything else, and then just cleanse everything and then go on down the road. Well, we didn't do that, and simply because of one thing: I don't believe in it. I don't believe in doing it, and I hope to God above, we're never faced with a situation like that again. all's good in my neighborhood and everything. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's good. And so, you know, at the end of the day, I am committed to do this job. And who knows, if we have the opportunity to do the next job, we'll do the next job. But, you know, I am very proud of what we're doing right here, and nobody's going to take that away from me.
All right, thank you, Steve. Let's now go to Brad McElhaney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Good afternoon. I also have a question about your financial disclosure in your campaign for U.S. Senate. Governor, that financial disclosure report shows big loans from your former senior advisor, Ray Carey, and his foundation. What was the deal there? He was your senior advisor. And did he provide earlier loans too, or were those the only ones? Thank you.
Well, Brad, I think you know what's on the disclosure form is exactly what happened and everything. To get into the play-by-play of those loans, that's not fair. That's not fair to Ray Carey. He's a good man. Did a great job here, and really and truly, with great pride, I appointed him to the West Virginia Board of Governors. He's doing a great job there. There's no question in anybody's mind about his love for WVU. It didn't have anything whatsoever. We had a business relationship, and that's what we did. And, you know, I'm sure Bray benefited from the business relationship. We benefited from the business relationship, and that's all there is to it. You know, we just everything I have in the world, you know, is an open book. You know, I'm not going to do anything that's not right. You make mistakes from time to time, but at the end of the day, we're going to do the right stuff, and we're going to continue to do the right stuff. And for the time that Ray Carey is here, what a job he did. He did a really, really good job. And I'm proud of our friendship, and I'm going to be that way until I die.
All right, thank you, Brad. Let's go to Randy Yohe with West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Always seem to be called on last. What are you going to do? Governor, I wanted to ask you about this federal government shutdown related to our national parks. We got 6 or so of them here in the state, and I find that parks can enter into a non-reimbursable arrangement with states or local governments for donations to fund the full operation of a park or site or specified service. So will the state of West Virginia donate money to any of its national parks to keep them open with this government shutdown? I mean, Bridge Day's almost here, and New River Gorge is a gold star with us.
Randy, I guess it's premature to tell you the truth as what we will do. You know, if the shutdown lasts and it lasts for a significant period of time, or even if the shutdown even happens. But we're on the phone working with these people nonstop, and at the end of the day, I just think I don't know any other way to say it. It's pitiful. It's pitiful that we can't run our house better than what we're running our house, you know, and that means minding the store of the federal government. You know, I mean, it's just absolutely pitiful, you know, and so people will, no question, be inconvenienced, and people will be hurt, and that is not good, not good. You know, at the same time, we've got to get our house in order and stop the nonsense. So it's just a shame. That's, you know, but to say, what will we do? You know, will we fund? Will we do this and that and everything else? Will we step in and do this and that and everything? That's too far down the road. Let's just see what happens.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Governor, back to you.
Well, let me review real quickly here and everything, and just say that Lieutenant Harold, again, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. You know, the September numbers are off the chart. I would tell you, I spoke about the government shutdown just a second ago. The additional payments, you know, for child care and everything is wonderful. I hate like crazy what we're doing. You know, so many people that have beat on President Trump don't think it's fair. Congratulations, Arch Cole. Tex Williams, you're a superstar in my book any day. and an absolute legend beyond belief, and honestly, a guy that's stuck on all the time. It's easy to see why you've been terribly successful. You know, the National Gear Up Month, or Gear Up, you know, for colleges across the state, good stuff. Remind our deer hunters and everything, you know, go out and enjoy the incredible outdoors, but go buy your extra stamps and everything right now. And Charles Romine, we miss you. We already miss you. Great man, and he'll be missed for a long, long, long time. Stepped up and served, didn't he? Stepped up and served and absolutely did it for this great state for a long, long, long time. Thank you so much. That's all I've got.